So as you're setting up your background, think, what are some props and ideas I can put back here that can connect with my audience or even serve as a conversation piece?
This is On Camera, On Brand, a show for professionals who want to look good on camera, but don't have the time or expertise to turn their office into a Hollywood studio. In each episode, Rob Ruscher uncovers how professionals can get the most from their home or office setups. If you invest the time to share your stories on camera, you should be on brand.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to On Camera, On Brand. I'm your host, Rob Ruscher, and in today's episode, we're going to create 3 different backgrounds for when you're on camera in your home office, like I am now. On Camera, On Brand is a show that helps B2B marketers look and sound their best when on camera. You can listen to all the episodes on your favorite podcasting platform and watch the episodes on YouTube. In addition to the filming I do in my studio, almost all my meetings are now done on camera. As I'm taking more of these calls in my home office, I'm getting a bit bored of this blank wall behind me and want to create some options. Not only do I want to have an additional space for creating content, but I also want this space to be a little more professional for taking virtual calls, consulting sessions, and hosting workshops. So the 3 backgrounds we're going to create today are a white paper backdrop with an RGB panel so we can change it to whatever color we want. Then we'll remove those backdrops and bring in furniture and props to create our own background. So first, let's start with the white paper backdrop. The other thing I did while setting this up is I had OBS running in full screen. So basically what that did is turn my laptop monitor into my camera monitor. So I could easily see, was the white filling up the frame or was my background poking out in the edges? Whatever video software you're using, you should be able to go into preferences, then your video settings, and be able to see a live feed of what it's using as your camera, whether that's your webcam, an external camera plugged in, and then you can view that live, and as you're making adjustments, you don't have to guess, you don't have to use the little monitor on your camera if that's what you're using. So that saves a lot of time to not go back and forth, and that will make the process of setting up your background a lot easier. Now the white gives us a clean, simple feel. I don't see my light switch behind me or any of the chipping of the paint, so it's definitely cleaner. However, if you don't have lighting to add some texture to this or some color to it, maybe look at paper seamless backdrops that have color. This can be colors to add to your branding, messaging, and there's even the green screen option, which we'll save for another episode because there's a whole different way to light that and make sure you have the tools so you can actually replace that green screen with something you want. So from here, if you had an additional light, you could throw it behind you and create some type of gradient. You could put it on the side. If it's bicolor RGB, you could play with changing a little bit of the color just to create some texture and separation. For now, I'm going to bring in my RGB panel and see if we can light this up in the space we have. For this setup, I use my F&V RGB panel. That's a 3 foot by 1 foot panel I have just underneath my seat here, hitting against the backdrop. Now, I do like it. However, I feel like it could be better, and I'm thinking that the 54-inch size might not be big enough. Now, there's a few things you can do. You could zoom in on a lens if you have that option. You can get a wider backdrop, or if you have 2 RGB panels, I would have set them up on each side, but I just have the one, so I'm going to go with the gradient. The cool thing with these RGBs, obviously, is that you can change the color. So just by switching this switch that I have in my lap right now, some lights can be controlled by your phone. You can easily change the color settings, brightness. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of go until I see something I like. Because this light is so close to me, I'm actually getting a little bit color on my face. That might not be a bad thing. You might want to embrace that. For this situation, I'm going to try to tone that down. So the next thing I'm going to look at is actually toning down my saturation a little bit. And what that's going to do is actually going to make it look a little whiter. So it's not going to be as colorful. So maybe we'll keep that where it is and then go into the dimming. And with dimming, I'm going to dim this down so it's not as crazy. Maybe get some of that color off my face. And as you dim it down, you can actually see the color gets a little richer, a little more saturated. So then now we can go down to saturation, loosen that up a little bit. So I'm really liking where we are here. I just kind of dialed in. I'm kind of digging the purple just because of the light blue shirt I have. I think I pop from the background. It's pleasing, it's fun, and it's not overly distracting. Okay, So I feel like now we have this as a great setup. I like this look. I'm actually saving the settings here in my light itself. I adjusted the hue, saturation, and brightness. I also moved my key light so it's hitting more of my face and not hitting the background so the color can stay where it is. Okay, now that we have that, we're on to our final setup. I'm going to clear all of this and we're going to bring in some furniture and turn this into a live set. From all my years of experience, I know no matter what, having a soft lamp in the background will always look good. And it's an added bonus if you have an RGB bulb in there, because then on your phone, you can change the brightness, dimness, and the color temperature. You can tweak that to exactly the way you want to look. And then you can prop that area around it. So I just have a nice wooden bowl that I like. I have a rock when I was out in Zion. And then on my other side, I have a salt lamp and a fake plant. For me, my favorite type of props are natural elements. I love the outdoors. I love camping, hiking, etc. So that fits me, that fits my brand. You should think about, what do you want your audience to see? So as you're setting up your background, think, what are some props and ideas I can put back here that can connect with my audience or even serve as a conversation piece? And that wraps up our episode on creating 3 different backdrops for your virtual calls, conferences, or workshop, whatever you are doing on camera in your home office. I hope you found this valuable. I hope you can build on what you're already doing. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out and let me know, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for checking out On Camera, On Brand. This episode is produced by Motion, a podcast agency that helps B2B organizations create their own shows. If you enjoyed what you learned, check out more episodes at motionagency.io/oncameraonbrand.